Hang on a second. There we go. We're recording now.
Okay, this is for you, Al. This is Tony at the A1 shop in Las Vegas. I got a PM4000 module on the bench here. As you can see, we can pan. I got a power supply over here, my little jig here, my scope, my generator, and a module. And what I can do is I can actually test and do any repair I feel like on this module right here on the bench. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the power supply on. Boom. Okay. As you can see, I've got it's plus voltage here, it's a minus voltage over here. Okay, and that's the two B plus voltages you need here. You also need a plus 12 volt for the lights, and that's this other power supply I had to make up, but I tie it in through the jig. So as you can see, the lights light up here. I have signal going in, okay, from my generator. You can see it right here, and if I go to my gain pot, you can see here I can clip it out or bring it down. Okay, now that's pre-mode. Now I can put the switch in post mode, and if you watch my scope there, I will bring up the fader, and as I bring up the fader, you'll see the signal come up. See, there it is right there. Okay, this is a fader that I'd already done. Okay, so you can see it's fairly smooth. There you go. So now what we're going to do is pull this section out and clean a fader so you can see. But we're going to turn the power supply off first, which it's off now. I'm going to unplug it because it'll be easier to handle, and the input. So the first thing we'll do, Phillips screwdriver, you're going to undo this screw right here. Get a little cup to put them in. Okay, we're going to do this screw right here, which is down towards the bottom of the module. Pull it out, put it over there. We're going to flip the module over, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 screws. There's one more on the other side, but I'll show you that last on purpose. These ones on the frame itself are countersunk, so you can see that pretty easy. Sorry, my hand's in the way.
It's okay.
It's okay. I could have something else in my hand. Ha! Now we'll turn the module back over. The reason we do this screw last, because it's a smaller screw than all the rest. It's not countersunk. Okay, we take that out. Now it looks just like the screw that was right here, but it's shorter. As you can see the difference between the two. Okay, the reason this short one's there is because that sits next to other modules, so you don't touch the circuit boards of the module next to it. Okay, now we'll slide this out. We'll slide the module fader board out. Now there's two things to watch for. There's the LED cover. Take it off, set it aside. You can undo these connectors here. There's 3 of them. I don't anymore because I've done enough. But the reason we remove the screw here and the screw there is you need to be able to separate this part. If it's easier for you to undo that screw that's right here, you undo it from the other side, go ahead to get that out of the way, but we don't have to. Okay, then on the back here you'll see this connector on the fader. Try and pull it straight out. Comes right out. Okay, boom, done. If you pull it the wrong way, you have a chance of breaking the connections on the fader, and then you got a ruined fader. You can't do nothing with it but replace it. Pull these 2 screws out that hold the fader into the frame. You can let it drop. This is my phone, I'll disregard it, okay? I'll call it later. Let it ring. Okay, there should be 2 screws from the fader. They fall all over the place, hunt for them. Here's the chassis screw. Yeah, here's the chassis screw. Put that over there too. Okay, the other screw's still there because when the fader fell out, I just pop it out, boom, and if it falls on the floor, you'll find it. Yep. Okay, got to make it funny. Now we got the fader in hand. If it's a little dusty, just brush it off, you know, whatever. Okay. Some of these faders have a piece of tape here to cover. I'll show you on another fader if you can see the difference. There's a little piece of tape there. Okay, that's factory. You got to pull it off to get the fader apart. You do not have to put it back on. It just keeps dust out, but the fader's usually set that way, so it's hard for dust to get in there after a while. So anyway, now we're going to pull the cover off this fader. If you notice, there's a little notch right here, right there. So you're going to undo it from the other end. I'm going to turn it. You can use your fingernails or a little screwdriver. And it should pop right off. Boom. 2 rails, and you see the plastic conductive part right here. If you look at this one, on the rails, you can see the dirt that gets in there on the rails. You want to clean all that off, even in these guide posts here too. Okay, so you can use either a paper towel or whatever. Just clean that stuff off. And you can slip this inside, get it inside there the best you can. If you have to use a little screwdriver, it's okay, but stay away from the conductive part if you can. No big deal. Slide it in the best you can and just up and down. Clean it off. Do both things, both rails. You can use a paper towel, you can use a real thin cloth if you want. But remember, if you can screw this up pretty easy. Get in there, clean it off. It'll pull through. Do both ends, because this end gets dirt too. So the big deal is the cleaning. Blow them out. Can of air won't hurt. You can get dirt out with that too. Now this ain't a guarantee, but it sure saves some money if you don't have to spend it. Make sure all the crap is gone off the plastic conductive part there. Okay, you can see it. Then what you do after you get it all clean, I use this stuff, but I call it sewing machine oil because it's a really thin lubricant. I found this at a hobby show, so I thought it was cool because it had this nozzle. You can see it drip down. Get into those bushings there, all the sides, and there's only really 3 sides you got to do. There's 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. You can do both sides if you want. You don't have to because the oil's thin enough it gets in there. And then just start working it. It's okay if the oil gets on the conductive part because those wipers get right through it. You can see it. It won't hurt. But this feels like almost new. Not quite, but a lot better than it was. Okay? Then you put the cover back on and make sure you get the notch in the right place. Pop it back on. Boom. Fader's done. And then you put it back together the best you can. A little time consuming, but it's worth it. It's good if you have a magnetic screwdriver because then the screws will hold on to the tip. Like that. Falls right off, huh? So if you need to magnetize your screwdriver, do it on like a speaker magnet or something. What you can do is get the screw in first, hold it in place, slide the fader till it gets in,
Like I said, a couple beers wouldn't hurt doing this, you know. Get in there. It can be a little temperamental, but we don't care. It'll get in there. Once you get it in, it's gonna slip right in. Line up that first hole. Once it goes, oh, you bastard. That's what happens. Welcome to the real world. Okay, we're going to pause for a minute. I'm going to magnetize my screwdriver.